Alright, there it goes. I don't know why I got my game to work first, but here we are, back again. Oh, I think my makeup looks good today. I'm really gonna try to keep my composure, but there is a bee, like a big ass, fat ass bumblebee, just flying around out here. Now I know bumblebees don't. Oh my God, there's two of them. Now I know bumblebees don't sting, but I don't want them around me to do what they doing, and it's two of them. So as long as they stay over there, we'll be cool. So I'm gonna try to keep it together as best as I possibly can, but I can't make any promises. Alright, and this isn't gonna take, this might, I don't know, we'll see how well this does, but let's go ahead and dive into it, shall we? Alright, coming to you live from Music City, USA, aka Nashville, Tennessee. This is the ALLAnal podcast with Sebastian Starr. I am your host, Sebastian Starr, and today I will be discussing the film Trap by M. Night Shyamalan. I'm pretty sure I'm not saying his name correctly, and I'm apologizing in advance. So for those of you who may or may not know, in addition to the occasional music, album, video, photo shoot analysis, I like to break down movies as well. And I started doing it for a minute, and then I kind of pushed back on it because obviously there's more music coming out than good movies. But this is a movie that I had seen recently and had rewatched even more recently and was like, fuck it, let's talk about it. So the M. Night Shyamalan movie Trap, I believe it came out around 2023-ish. The main premise and plot of the movie: a serial killer takes his 12-year-old daughter to a concert that turns out to be a trap set up by the FBI and the local police force to capture him. So this is a very interesting movie. It is available on Netflix. It was available on, I think, HBO Max or something like that for a long time, but now it's available on Netflix, which is how I was able to watch it recently. So first off the jump, you get the guy, the main character. His name is Cooper. Right, he's taking his daughter to go see a concert by this performer named Lady Raven, who's like a dark alternative pop type of artist. Who, you know, the music is great. The music is really, really good. I'm not even gonna hold you. We're not gonna talk about the music too much because I didn't dive into the musical aspects of the movie, because the whole premise of the movie was to discuss this guy. And it also did one of these things in the trailer where it kind of gave away too much in the trailer that should have left the audience like up and around, like, ooh, I wonder what's gonna happen. But they just gave away way too much, way too quickly. So the guy takes his daughter to this concert. He's noticing around the venue that there are police officers excuse me, that there are police officers at every door and entrance. There's more than there should be for just a not local, but just like a big name pop artist. Like, we understand if we're doing like a Taylor Swift or a Beyonce or something like that, security is going to be top tier every single time because people are crazy and stuff happens. But this particular set of policing seems overly excessive because they're not just regular police officers. They're like guarded, armored police officers in like the Kevlar vest and the machine guns and the helmets. Like they're about to, you know, attack. You know what I mean? So he's looking around. He's a little suspicious. At one point, he kind of breaks away from his daughter, goes to the booth where you can buy your merch for your favorite artist, and he asks one of the guys, he's like, hey, you know, I'm noticing all these police officers. What's going on? And it's very like, why the fuck are you know what I mean? And there's going to be a lot of problems with this movie. With that being said, I did enjoy it. But he goes to one of the workers who's working at the merch table and is like, hey, man, noticing all these armed guards and polices and you know, what's going on? The merch salesman, who is probably the biggest cornball in this entire movie tells him, oh yeah, so you know that guy they call the Butcher, right? Referring to a serial killer who's been mutilating bodies, you know, for the past couple of months. And he tells the main character, Cooper, oh yeah, you know that guy the Butcher, right? Well, the FBI heard that he's gonna be here at this concert, so they're setting up a trap for him. And it's just like, bro, why the fuck are you telling him this? You know what I mean? Like, realistically speaking, and we're gonna finish the entire movie because I have everything written down, but I gotta stop right here real quick. You work at this venue. I live in Nashville, so let's just use a very popular, very big name venue as an example. Say you work at the Bridgestone. You work at the goddamn Bridgestone. Bridgestone houses, you know, concerts, hockey games galore all the time. If they're not at the Titan Stadium, they're at the Bridgestone. You work at the Bridgestone. I'm pretty sure that morning when you got called in by your supervisor, your manager, your boss, they called everybody in for me because there's a big show tonight. So everyone has to be on their P's and Q's. Okay. They bring in somebody from the FBI and say, good evening or good morning, everyone. We have news that the infamous Butcher serial killer who has mutilated and decapitated and chopped up 12 bodies is said to be here at this concert that you're hosting this evening. Here is the protocol, the rules and regulations, the list of do's and don'ts, and what to expect from the evening perceiving moving forward. This is confidential information. Keep this to yourself and just be on high alert. If you see something, say something, etc. So you have to have that talk. Realistically speaking, I watch a lot of Criminal Minds, so I know how the FBI and profilers and the behavioral analysis, I know how all of that works from the perspective of somebody who watches Criminal Minds. We're not about to tell y'all that we're setting up a trap to catch a serial killer for you to just go and tell the first random nigga that asks you, what are all these cops doing here? Sir, we're hosting a concert. This is a very big name celebrity, and you know, lately she's been getting like threats from fans, and we just want to make sure that she has the utmost security and that she's extra super special and safe. And that's what he could have said, but instead he just flat out came out and said, oh, they're trying to catch a serial killer. And it's just like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? So that already pisses me off. How unrealistic that was, that is what he decided to do. And conveniently enough, the nigga that he was talking to was the nigga that they were looking for. So in the trailer, it's revealed that the main character is the serial killer in question, which again is a too big of a reveal to have. But it also kind of made me want to go and see the movie. So Cooper, the main character, gets told this by the nigga who's running the merch table at the venue. And immediately he goes into serial killer psychosis mode. If you know anything about serial killers, or if you're a follower of like true crime, whatever, you know they all have their kind of connections. One of the biggest things is that they're over analytical, critical thinkers, and they always have to have backup plans to their backup plans to their backup plans. So he's already starting to figure out, okay, how do I get out of here? But he also has his 12-year-old daughter with him. So he can't just up and leave because, one, that's suspicious as hell. And for two, he's supposed to be there with his kid. Okay. So he's got to maneuver. He's got to think on his feet. He's got to move quickly while at the same time not making, whoops, I hit the table. While at the same time not making it so obvious to his daughter that something is terribly, terribly wrong and he needs to leave. This is her favorite artist. She's obsessed with it. She's got the merch, the CDs. She knows the dances, all the songs. She can play them on piano. She's your typical 12-year-old tween who is obsessed with this particular artist. Oh my God. And she wanted to go and see her perform. So they're not finna just leave. So he's thinking on his feet, okay, how do I do this? How do I do this? Somehow manages to get close enough with this salesman at the merch table to follow him to the back where they keep their merch, because he's looking for a very specific shirt in a very specific size for his daughter. The guy leads him to the back of the venue where the merch is and pulls up a video picture of the Butcher's latest victim and shoves his phone into the guy's face. The Butcher's face, the main character's face, Cooper's face, like, oh my God, isn't that such a gore? It's just like, dude, what in the hell do you got going on? Like, what is going on here? Are you not the kid? If it wasn't me, I'd be sure it was you, because you're way too obsessed with this shit. But anyway, while they're in the back getting the merch, getting the shirts, he sneaks and steals the merch salesman's ID card, which gives him access to some of the other rooms in the venue. He uses this card to get access into a room where there's a room full of like armed SWAT guards and FBI agents who are going over, you know, the general profile of the serial killer. They're telling you who to look out for and what to do when you find them. He manages to pin the clip of the ID card to his regular shirt, walk through this armed room of officers, get himself a coffee, some donuts, and blend in so easily that they don't even suspect that this is the nigga that they're looking for. Which, again, you are the FBI and the SWAT team. Y'all had to have had a meeting that morning because you knew he was going to be there on what to do and what to look for. And y'all just let this nigga walking around. He's not even in uniform. All of the uniforms are wearing like purple shirts and khaki pants. And if you work in the kitchen, you got khaki pants and a green shirt. This nigga is wearing army green pants with a orange and dark brown shirt with like a military colored jacket, but not a military jacket, but just like the color scheme. And it's just like, he looks like a regular fucking civilian. So how are y'all letting him just get around this venue so easily and not ask no goddamn questions? So he gets out of the room with the FBI agents. And, well, they're not FBI. I'm going to say that they're SWAT, because the FBI was the ones who was looking for this nigga. So they would have peeked immediately. If he would have ran to any single FBI agent on the scene at the venue, he would have got captured 5 minutes in, the movie's over with. So this room is full of, like, SWAT team members. Niggas who's ready to just bust down doors and start shooting. Shoot first, ask questions later, ask people. So he manages to steal one of their walkies. How? I don't know. He steals one of their walkies, so now he's got an in-ear of everything that's going on. He knows what the FBI profiler is saying. She's predicting his every move. He might try to set off an alarm to start a mass panic and get everybody evacuated. He might try to cause some kind of commotion. Guard every entry and exit. Make sure that no man who fits this description leaves out of this building. We're checking everybody. He can hear this in his in-ear. And at the same time, he's still trying to finagle a way in and out of the fucking venue, while at the same time being present for his daughter, who's trying to enjoy the fucking concert. So, I'm looking at my notes here. So, while he's doing all of this, the concert is still going on. It's like a 3-hour show. We're gonna just, you know, throughout the whole performance, he's constantly leaving his daughter alone in the audience to watch the show. And at some point, he gets back with her, and she was like, oh my God, I hope she gets to do the Dream Girl song. And he's like, what does that mean? And he was like, oh, well, every concert she does a Dream Girl song. She'll pick somebody from the audience, and they get to go on stage with her and sing and dance, and they even get to go backstage and meet her and take pictures and all that stuff. So he finds one of the people on the production crew for the artist, Lady Raven, who is M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, by the way. And I'm told that this was just a gimmick to get her music out there because she wants to be a musician, but that's another story for another day. So he finagles one of the production people, who turns out to be M. Night Shyamalan, the director, and says, yeah, there's my daughter right there. She's just recovering from leukemia. We really wanted to see the show, and I'm sorry, I know you don't want to hear me talk about this, but she's just so excited to be here. And the guy is like, hey, man, what's your seat number? And then later on, they tap him on the shoulder. Oh, we would love to invite you on stage to be our dream girl for tonight. And she's like, oh my God. And so they get to go on stage. He's backstage, kind of off center, watching her on stage perform with the girl. And she's having a great time. Kid Cudi makes a random cameo in this movie as like a really jerky artist who's like snobby and uptight, who performs with Lady Raven on stage at one point. And he's seeing everything that's going on backstage. Other girls who have passed out, the medics team, the FBI team, anybody and everybody who's backstage trying to not only do the show, but find the serial killer. So eventually they get backstage. It's the end of the show, and the management team comes out and is like, Lady Raven will be out with you shortly to take some pictures and meet you formally. You know, thank you so much for being here tonight. We absolutely appreciate it. Blase, blase, whoop-de-whoop. So at some point he can overhear the kids. He still got the fucking walkie-talkie from the FBI people. You know, don't let any man who fits this description, and it's his description. It's a perfect, and this is what I love about the accuracy of the FBI profile. They boiled him down to a T. He fits the perfect fucking description, and every single person who works at this venue did not stop for 1 second and go, huh, he just so happens to coincidentally fit the name they're looking for. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. So they just continue on about their merry way, doing whatever it is that they do. And he just finagles his way through this venue and is doing all of this stuff completely unwarranted by any chance of a consequence. So Lady Raven comes back and meets them, and he's like, can I pull you to the side for a second, just a quick little chat? And the daughter's like, oh my god, this is so amazing. And he pulls Lady Raven to the side. This is the artist. And he was like, he says something random about carbon monoxide or something like that, and is talking to her, and she's like, what are you talking about? And then he pulls out his phone and shows her a video of his most recent victim, this young guy that he kidnaps in broad daylight. And oh god, these bees. And whew, okay. Hold on. I gotta get inside the house. Ah! Jesus Christ, I left everything on the table. There's 3 bees outside, and they scared the hell out of me, and they cornered me, and I didn't like it, so I'm in the house now. Okay, so, I'm sorry. I panicked real bad. Okay, so, he pulls her to the side, and he shows her a video of his latest victim. And he's like, this is the guy that I have captive, and if you tell anybody that I'm the guy that you're looking for, then I'm going to release carbon monoxide into the room that he's in. He's going to die in 5 minutes. And she immediately freezes, like, oh my God, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, I'm dead serious. So he somehow uses that guy, that hostage, as a ruse to get Lady Raven to take him and his daughter out of the venue via her limousine, which, so famous people don't ride in limousines anymore, but okay. Let's just, for shits and giggles, just say that she's using the limousine for that. So she's like, how about I go to your guys' house and meet your family? You know, I had such a great time with you. And keep in mind, the little girl is ecstatic, over the moon. She's just like, oh my God, this is my favorite artist, and she wants to come and meet my family? Not knowing that her father is a notorious serial killer who just threatened this woman and this man that she's never met, and she's just doing anything she can to save him. So they go to the family's house, the Cooper house. Not the last name, not Cooper, but the Coopers. She goes there, she meets her mom and her little brother, and she's like drinking water and, you know, playing the piano and singing songs for him. And it's just like, it's a great vibe, you know, it's a good, nice mix of shit. So at one point, Lady Raven is like, let's take a picture. And she snatches the dad's phone, snaps a quick photo, and it's like, I have to go to the bathroom, and just runs into the bathroom with his phone. And he's like, my phone? Can I have my phone? And everyone's looking at him like, Cooper, what's wrong with you? Like, relax, calm down. And he's like, no, I need my phone. So she gets onto the video call where the young man is captured. I'm saying young man, but he's really like 24, 25. But she gets onto the video, and she was like, can you tell me anything about where you might be? I might be able to help you. She pulls out her phone, goes up to her Instagram live, and says, hey, I need you guys to help me find the butcher next victim. This isn't a joke. I have his phone, and we're trying to find out where he is. And they use the power of the internet, which is a glorious thing to use in a situation like this, to find out where this guy is captured. And they find him, he gets out, and everything's copacetic. But now Cooper you can hear on the other side of the bathroom door that he's done something to his family. It was a lot of screaming, a lot of banging, and then just nothing. He comes, knocks on the door, she opens it, he grabs her by the shoulder, walks her to the garage, and gets her into a car, and they're about to drive off. At one point, Lady Raven uses these psychological tactics that were given to her by the profilers of the FBI to fuck with his brain chemistry and kind of manipulate him into doing something different, kind of trying to fuck with him a little bit. It starts to work, but then it starts to not work when he peeps that that's what she's doing. As he opens the garage door, his family is standing outside, and they're very, very confused and extremely baffled. They're just like, Cooper, what's going on? This can't be you. And it's like, yeah, bitch, it's me. I'm the serial killer. So the police show up. Lady Raven gets out, and he stays in the house. The family gets escorted to a private, holding facility. and Lady Raven is waiting for her limo driver to drive off into the night. Now, meanwhile, the FBI and the SWAT teams are storming the house. They get inside the house and they find a tunnel. Where does the tunnel lead? I don't know. Somewhere else. Someone goes up to the, and I'm going to tell you who it is. It's Cooper. It's the serial killer. Someone goes up to the limo driver's door, knocks on it, and says, "I'll take her out of here." And then the driver just gets out of the car and lets this random guy get into the car and drive away. I'm going to stop you right there. Because if it's your job, you have one job. And that is to drive this particular person around so that they can do what they do. You're going to get out of the car and let somebody else do it. And you're not going to question any of that? Okay. So they're driving. And then she realizes, oh my God, it's Cooper. And she gets handcuffed. He gets into the backseat and handcuffs her to the inside of the limo so she can't move. And he's like, "I usually don't do this, but, you know, I saw you backstage and I just knew that I had to have you." Real serial killer shit, right? So they stop at a red light. She gets the window rolled down and screams out the window, "Help me, please, you have to help me." And somebody was like, "What? Why?" And it's just like, the fuck do you mean? Why? I'm screaming for help. Don't worry about why. Just worry about doing it. So at this point, everyone starts swarming the car. The car is surrounded by fans, paparazzi, because they know who's inside the car. And the police catch up to the limo, like they should. And they're like, "Everybody get out of the car." They get Lady Raven out. She's safe. They shoot the tires. They shoot the driver's side window. And the car is empty. I don't know how, but at some point he manages to because he disguised himself as a SWAT unit member to infiltrate the limousine, to drive the limousine out of there. So at some point he manages, in like a 2-minute time span, to get undressed from the SWAT team uniform and redress into street clothes, civilian clothes, get out of the car with nobody noticing him. Meanwhile, the car is surrounded by paparazzi and fans trying to take pictures. All of those people did not see any car door open for him to bop out. They shot out the tires, they shot out the window, and he disappears into the night. So what does he do? He goes back home. Who's waiting for him at the house? His wife. Because it turns out, plot twist, and I love a good plot twist, and that's probably why I like this movie so much, that the wife had suspicions about the type of man that she married, because she said that there was an instance where he lied so easily to one of their neighbors, and it was a very convincing, very genuinely feeling lie. And she had other suspicions, like maybe he was having an affair, but it was the way that he came home smelling like cleaning supplies and not like he just came from work. He works at a firehouse. So it's like you come home just smelling way too clean, and you have this demeanor of, when you walk into a room, people are immediately just intimidated by you. And I know that you have like mommy issues, but I didn't think it was that bad. And I followed you one day to an empty house that I guess you own. And he was like, "Yeah, that's where I go to think. That's where I go to plan. That's where I go to plot my notorious mastermind schemes." And she was like, "There was something in there but a table and a chair. And I left a torn receipt for the concert there. And I called the police and said that might be one of your hideouts. And I didn't think it would lead to anything. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew that I had to tell somebody, and maybe they would catch you, and maybe all this would be over." And he done took his shirt off. He got a butcher knife sitting on the table waiting for her, and she's scared shitless, and everything is just going right. And this is the part of the movie where you kind of feel your chest tighten a little, because you really don't know what's about to happen. And she was like, "Look, there's one more piece of cake left, or pie, or whatever. Let's just have one more piece of dessert before anything else transpires." And he's like, "Okay." At some point, you see her reach underneath the sink to prepare the pie or whatever the fuck it is. And it's just like, dude, she's getting something to poison you. But that's obvious, right? So she puts the pie down in front of him. He takes 5 bites, and immediately he gets a little loopy. And she was like, "I use the same thing that you use on your victims." And he was like, "That doesn't do anything but make them lucid." And he's lucid. He ain't down. He's down, but he's not out, if that makes sense. So he's coming towards her. At this point, the police have been notified again that this nigga is on the rise. And now they got him cornered. They done tasered him. They didn't everything but shoot him, which at this point they should have, because after they tase him, he runs towards one of the armed guards and is like, And he strangles him. And he stabs his thumbs into his eyeballs. And he does it again. He just keeps strangling this guy until there's nothing left. And he tries to attack somebody else. And then the head honcho FBI lady tases him one more time. And he falls to the ground. They arrest her. They put a shirt on him. As they're walking him out of the house into the SWAT patrol car, he stops and looks at his daughter's bike. And they're like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? And he's just like, let me just fix this thing. And for some reason, they let him do it. And in the midst of doing that, he takes one of the little notches that connects the wheel to the rim of the bike out very discreetly. I don't know how he's doing this, but he does that, and he used that to uncuff himself in the back of the SWAT car, and I'm assuming he escapes because then the screen goes black and the movie ends. And the post-credit scene is a scene of the merch salesman from the venue watching the news, and he sees on the news that the man that he helped at that concert was in fact arrested as the butcher, the serial killer. And he's like, oh my God, I'm never talking to anybody on my job again. And it's just like, you big dumb bitch. You shouldn't have did that in the first place. So that's the movie in a nutshell. And my notes, which I've kind of already discussed in detail, were just all of the things that didn't make sense. One of them being the fact that he was able to so easily infiltrate secured locations in this venue, because one, I don't know if you've ever been to a concert that was hosted by like a really famous person, but you're not just running around freely like that. It's a very controlled space. If you're not in your seat or at the bathroom or at the concession stand line and you're just roaming around, that's a problem. That's suspicious. People are going to stop you and ask you what you're doing. And I don't know if the staff was just like rehired for that particular show, but unless you got just extra volunteer hands or secondary hands on deck, you're going to know who you work with and who you don't work with. So if you see somebody in the back that you've never seen before, and they're not only not in uniform, but they don't really know what's going on, because he was asking a lot of questions like, hey, what's all this about? And what's going on here? You obviously don't work here. And then on top of that, she gave in great detail the description of the serial killer, and he fit it to a T. And nobody stopped him and was like, hey, man, what are you doing? The one time he did get stopped, and again, the fucking merch salesman gave him the code word for if they see something or if they need to do a check somewhere, they give up this code word. I believe the code word was Hamilton. He gave him the code word. So when he did get stopped by a SWAT team member, they was like, what's the code word? And he was like, oh, it's Hamilton. And they was just like, okay, so you probably ain't supposed to be up here, but let me explain to you what's going on. And it's just like, dude, y'all didn't have a meeting. Y'all didn't meet each person. Like, what is the protocol for catching a serial killer at a concert? Because you're not doing it correctly. And it bothered me that he could just do this so swiftly and not get noticed by anybody. But with all of the negative things in place, the things that I enjoyed about the movie were the plot twist. There were several. Lady Raven, the artist in question, was helping the police with their investigation. She was in coherence with the whole thing, which is how she knew in detail and she was the only one who probably did her job properly. She understood what the profile was and who she was dealing with and what to do if she encountered him. So once she figured that out, she went into attack mode and she did her job accordingly. So she's probably the only one who did her job right. And the wife who planted the receipt for the ticket at the hideout so the police would find him and show up, that was well executed, because I didn't see that coming. I didn't even think that the wife or anybody else in the family knew anything about who he was or what he was trying to do or anything like that. I appreciated that. But the thing that just bothers me is how they kept giving this nigga chances. It's one thing to get cornered. You use the celebrity icon in question as a back out tool. You know, you threaten her and you threaten the life of this young man, but then she's working internally. She's thinking 2 steps ahead of you. So she's got to keep herself far enough in front of you to see what's going on and how it's working. And she executed that well. She helped the young man get out. She cornered him twice She cornered him 2 times, once in his home and once in the goddamn limo. And it's just like, how does he keep getting out? Is he like a ninja with like superhuman speed and strength and power that can just come and go as he pleases? Because I find that extremely hard to believe how nobody saw him get out of the car when there were paparazzis and people taking pictures everywhere. There's no way you didn't see none of those doors open. And maybe you can argue that when her door opened, everyone was distracted by her getting out of the car. But she's terrified at the same time. She's frightened beyond belief. And she just said, I need you to help me. And a nigga go holler out some why. And it's just like, don't worry about why. Just worry about getting me out of this car. And it sets it up for sure to be like a part 2. Because again, he takes the little stick thingy off of the bicycle, uncuffs himself in the back of the SWAT vehicle. And it doesn't say that he escaped out of the SWAT vehicle. It doesn't say that he was at large or anything like that. But it's implied that he does once again escape. And I think that this is he's more of an escape artist than he is a serial killer, because the way that he can just come and go as he pleases is mind-boggling to me. But that's the movie Trap in a nutshell. Again, it's filled with a lot of plot holes, a lot of things that don't make sense. And in addition to all that, some of the acting is a little corny. Like the merch salesman, I believe his name was Chris. He's a cornball. Like, he is your definition of a cornball. That's who that man is. Like, he's absolutely cringy. He's super duper corny. He's whack. He has no real personality other than just being a guy who works at a venue and is obsessed with this one particular serial killer. And he just so happens to run into said particular serial killer at the venue that he's working, and is so oblivious to the fact that anybody on the street could just be a serial killer. Like, if you really were into crime shows like that and you really liked stuff like that, then you would keep that in the back of your mind at all times. Because I do. Anybody walking down the street can be a serial killer as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not going to just talk. And if I know that the venue is trapping a serial killer for this concert, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not saying a word. But he told this man everything. And it's just like, dude, you don't even know him. And you can blame it on the amount of charisma that Cooper has and how charming and easy to please. And he's just so nice and sweet and humble. And it's just like, bro, I don't give a damn how nice you are to me. There's a serial killer here. Everybody is a suspect as far as I'm concerned. I'm not talking to anyone. And he told that man everything. And it's just like, dude, the biggest plot hole was the nigga at the merch table. Because if you would have just kept your mouth shut, if you would have said nothing and let that nigga spiral, he would have got caught at that concert. He would have got caught because they was checking seats. They were going to any man who fit that description, and they were pulling him to the side for questioning. They would have found him, and it would have been over with. But because you wanted to run your mouth, you done shit done hit the goddamn fan. So I blame Chris. If anybody is the biggest plot hole in this movie, is the nigga Chris from the merch table. And he's such this big, black, goofy, circular shaped nigga who's just so everything that you can think of that makes a nigga corny is what that nigga consists of in a nutshell. And it's the most embarrassing thing ever. But he's the real, I'm not going to say he's the villain, but he's definitely the reason why everything went to hell very, very quickly. Because it's like the 10-minute point into the movie. They just now get into their seats. And he just walks up to him and just starts asking him what's going on. And he told him everything in 10 minutes. I'm baffled. I'm flabbergasted that you allowed yourself to be taken advantage of so easily by a man you don't even know. Oh, he's here with his daughter to see a concert. He's not coming here to see the damn show. So what are you... But anyway, that was Trap in a nutshell. I would be more than happy to dive deeper into it on a more intellectual level, but on the surface, that's what it boils down to. Again, it's available on Netflix. It's from M. Night Shyamalan, which a lot of his movies are either a hit or a miss. I know movies like Signs and, what is it called? Silent Hill, I think might be an M. Night Shyamalan movie. I'm honestly not too sure. But a lot of his movies do really, really well. Knock at the Cabin was another really good one that people were talking about. But then you got some movies like Old or The Happening or a movie like this where it's kind of 50-50. It's a hit or a miss. There's a lot of things about it that don't really make a lot of sense to people. And it's just like, dude, what the hell is going on? This movie had a great plot and premise, but the acting, the delivery, and these plot holes that just keep popping up kind of bring it down to that medium 5.5, 6 range, in my opinion. That's what I would give it, about a 6.5. It could have been better executed if maybe the cast was a bit more believable. And if the scenarios weren't as easy to trick. Like maybe if there was more time in between, but there's 2 to 3 minutes between every scenario where he escapes and gets away, and it's so unrealistic because you're not getting out of that limo. I'm not gonna let that go. You're not getting out of that limo surrounded by hundreds of people with cameras, taking pictures, taking videos. Somebody saw something. And it kills me that nobody said anything. But I digress. That's all I have to say about the movie Trap. Again, it's on Netflix. And you can watch it yourself and tell me what you think. That's totally up to you. But that's just what I think. That's just how I feel. But thank you for tuning in with me this afternoon. I absolutely appreciate it. And until next time, I will speak to you all later. Bye-bye.